Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our round of 8 game here at the Nations Wars. We have currently to the bottom left of the map the starting player for the Ukraine in this best of 7. It is Dimaga. The Ukraine starting with one of their two Zerg players. We have Dimaga, we have Bly and Cast playing for the team. And all the way to the top right of Overgrowth here on the first map we have the Team Liquid player playing for Poland. That is Mana, their starting player, the only Protoss player, the only non-Zerg player actually that they have in the lineup. Poland is relying on Mana, on Nurchio and on Tefel. So those are the three players that Ukraine has to worry about today. And I feel it's actually going to be a really good game. Not only the match between Dimaga and Mana, but in general Poland versus Ukraine should be a pretty cool match. We have a very interesting games coming up later on as well. France versus Russia, for example, is also going to be quite the exciting match. And I mean, for now, we're of course going to focus a bit at map number 1 in this particular match here. Overlord's trying to get into position. Mana is starting things off with a gateway in his own main base. This is also the same matchup that we had in the finals of one of the DreamHack when Mana was finally able to win a big and major tournament. But Dimaga back then, he lost it, and now of course he has a bit of a chance to at least get a small revenge. Not really what he wanted there, but yeah, still he could win this game and bring the Ukraine into the lead. Would be absolutely great for them. And for now, it's of course only a matter of the scouting information here in the early stage of the game. Dimaga also throwing down the spawning pool all the way back at home, making sure that at this point there's nothing that Mana could do with the forge opening, no cannon rush opportunities for the young Polish player. And we have for Dimaga now, of course, also the expansion started already with the hatch at the bottom of the map at the natural, taking that right away. And we see the probe just trying to get a quick look here. Not going to do anything. Might actually throw down a pylon. You could do that. You could throw down a quick pylon, try to fake your opponent out, hope that he just commits enough of his drones to a defense that it's worth it for you. But in this case, Mana is not trying to pull it off. One of the reasons is that we have the Overlord already in position at the front wall. And if you would start things off with a forge, the chances that you're putting it into the main base are rather slim on a map like this, where you have a big choke. We have to try to protect that. So for now we have the cybernetics core on the low ground, but now Dimaga knows exactly that there is no forge. Assumed that of course already before that. Zergling's trying to take down the harvester here, and you could really see that this drone was hiding. He was hiding the drone, and it's now moving over and trying to take another base, roughly around the 4-minute mark. So very early. That's usually the timing that you would want to use if your opponent starts things off with a forge. But we have for Dimaga that opening anyways, so he is of course, or has to be a little bit careful later that he doesn't overdrone too much. And for him it's quite important now that he gets the scouting information to find out what exactly Mana is doing. We have in this case the Zerglings already trying to make a bit of an appearance there, maybe even rushing into the main base. They should be able to pull it off. That Zealot is not going to do enough, and the Mothership Core is going to pop out in just a second. But the thing is, of course, that it won't be able to take down both of the Zerglings before they get the scouting information in the main base. If Dimaga really wants to come in, which is actually not the case, he's just moving back with the Lynx, trying to keep both of them alive, and he won't have any trouble with that. Mana didn't see the third base yet. Didn't have the scouting information there, so we now know that there is a third base. Stargate is the tech of choice for the Polish player, trying to use either the Oracle or then the Phoenixes. Could also of course use a combination of both. Mothership Core with a high ground vision is suddenly making sure that that Overlord is on the list of the endangered species, and it looks, yep, that Overlord is going to die. So a nice lead already here for Mana, or at least a nice start into the game. Taking down the Overlord is quite important here. Supply block Dimaga for a bit, and of course it takes also another lava and 100 minerals of him. Whereas we see now at that third base over here, the inject with the queens started. No creep spread between the two bases just yet, and that's of course one of the things that Dimaga really needs if he wants to use the queens from the main base and the natural for the defense. He doesn't really have that opportunity just yet, or would have to walk them over, and that would slow them down quite significantly. But he has a few Zerglings there. A lot of Overlords are being built. We do not have speed just yet. He doesn't even have the gas to start speed. And Mana is poking a bit. He only has a Stalker and a Zealot, and by now we have quite a few Zerglings to make sure that it's not going to be easy for Mana to do too much damage there. The Protoss player is already realizing this and is moving back with his Mothership Core and the other two units. And Dimaga is not even going into Zergling speed. He's like, yeah, scratch that, I'm going to go straight into my lair tech, and then we're going to find out what we're going to do about that. So 2 bases, 3 bases already for Dimaga and Leertech, playing this a little bit greedy, I have to say. If Mana goes for pure gateway aggression, then Dimaga might be in some trouble here, but it doesn't really look like Mana is going to do that. First of all, he has the Stargate already built. Second of all, we have him with Phoenixes on the map, and he's also now committing to a Robo and to a Forge build for a +1 upgrade. So it's time for the Phoenixes to shine and show that they are able to take down a few units here. Trying to snipe, of course, not only the drones, but if they have the possibility to kill a queen, that will be also on the menu list for today. But we have now the first harvester taken out, just goes for the overlords here, and with only 1 queen there's not a lot of anti here. So the first overlord is already eliminated, he goes in for another one, starts to take down the queen, and I think he's going to be fine with 2 quick lifts here. First lift, of course, is now done, and the queen, yes, the queen is going to die. And that also means that those overlords are suddenly exposed. The spore crawlers are nearly completed, but he could take down another one at least. That's exactly what he does. Takes down a second overlord. Great job here by Mana so far, getting his few kills in, whereas the Zerglings are still looking at that third base, trying to determine if Mana wants to expand again, and of course, if possible, also going to try and prevent that, or at least delay it for a bit. We have now the Phoenixes on their way into the main base, still looking for overlords, still looking for drones, and yeah, spore crawlers everywhere. Dimaga is absolutely not fooling around here. He's currently really looking at his double spore crawler per mineral line, and that makes it very difficult for Mana to take anything down here. 2 drones, that was the most that he could achieve there. Whereas we have Dimaga now with speed for the Zerglings, roach speed after the completed lair tech has been started too. And he gets a lot of roaches, but Mana is on his way to get the first set of immortals into the game. First roach is also taken out here. A single lift, that's all that he needs here, and another roach being attacked. So in a situation like this, Dimaga is starting to lose the first few units against his opponent, and Mana is just being a bit of a pain in the ass at this point. This base over here should be safe very soon. As soon as the Nexus is done, the photon overcharge can be used by the mothership core. We have a photon cannon in position. A few roaches are trying to cross the map, but as I already said earlier, we have the first immortal already in the game, and he's going to just build the second one, and with that void ray that we see there, and a defense against only roaches should not be a big issue for Mana. It should really not be a problem. If Dimaga wants to get Hydralisk, then I guess it's going to be a different story, but with only roaches, it's going to be very tricky for him to succeed here. There are just too many units. Mana could easily just snipe another roach there. He's already moving back with his Phoenixes, getting roach after roach, and really trying to limit the numbers that Dimaga can throw against him. In regards to army supply, we have 88 against 51, and you can really see that Void Ray is starting to do some damage, and Dimaga realizes it's now or never. Moves in with the roaches, tries to break through the wall. Where's the immortal all the way at the front? The double cannon is already there. Can use now the force fields, and the roaches are already moving back. The only thing that he could kill was 2 harvesters, and I think that was even to the left side of the map. Yep, exactly over here. And the rest of the roaches now moving back to Phoenixes, taking them down one after another. That Void Ray is doing its damage. Mana has another Void Ray on the way. Currently he's controlling 2 of them. And I don't think that Dimaga is going to be very happy with this composition. He can do some damage before the army dies, I guess. But how fast can he do that damage? That's the question. There we go. Where are the Void Rays? Void Rays are taking care of the reinforcements. And we have the immortal that we have in this mix going strong. We have the cannon still there, the photon overcharge. Here come the Phoenixes going strong with the lifts. Even a Colossus is already there. Has to run away though. That immortal is still doing some damage, but then of course just surrounded by roaches and not in a happy place. But Dimaga is losing a lot here. Resources lost 4,000 against 2,000. And the Void Rays that we see, they just do not stop. The Phoenixes move in again with another lift. He's just lifting one after another. Nice micro here by Mana. Dimaga with an endless swarm of units going to the top left, trying to take down one of these bases, but he's dwindling in supply, and you can see the resources lost here. 7,000 against 3,000. Even the Colossus survives here against the Zerglings that were chasing him. Dimaga completely denied by his opponent. He got wrecked in this attack. The Ukrainian starting player needs to be super careful now. He wanted to go for the massive aggression, but Dimaga must simply be ready. He had Phoenixes to take down a few of the roaches. He had all of those Void Rays, of course. 54 roaches already died in this game, and we have those immortals as well. It's just so difficult for Dimaga to do anything here. I mean, the Void Rays, they just don't stop. They move in again, and they are so effective against these units. We have triple Void Ray, quadruple Void Ray already in the game. And still those cannons, still the force field that he uses it a bit too late, but who cares with the double Colossus behind the wall, taking down these units as they spawn. I mean, it's 130 overall supply against 129, and Dimaga has to realize now that this combination is just not gonna cut it. He needs at least a Hydra then if he wants to make anything happen here, and it might already be too late for that. 10,000 resources lost against 4,000. Even with this constant aggression, that's not gonna work for him. 60 supply against 58 supply in terms of workers that we see in the game now. And Dimaga, he's just going straight for it. Roaches and Zerglings, that's all that he goes for. He needs precious mana, don't get me wrong. He puts a lot of pressure onto the young Polish player, but I just don't think that with all these Void Rays in the game, in the end, it's gonna take down the starting player for Poland. Mana is doing his thing, going for the chargeability on the Void Rays again. Just look at those kills. 18, 19, 17, and 7. That was the last Void Ray that came out here, the youngest of them. Like all these older brothers, and they're so successful. And he's just looking up to them. He wants to be like them. He wants to be like, yeah, when I'm all grown up, then I'm gonna have like nearly 20 kills as well. For now, it's only 7, but that's already enough. Here comes another army of Dimaga, but you can really see how suddenly the supply numbers are changing very, very quickly. Mana with 87, Dimaga looking at 77, force fields being thrown down, and resources lost. Oh, if you are from the Ukraine, then you are shedding a tear as you're watching this game. Dimaga, he doesn't give up. He knows what's on the line here. It's that early point against the opponent's team of the Nation Wars, but he has to know it right that this is not going to happen any longer. Not with this composition. He needs to transition. I don't think he can. 15,000 resources lost against 5,000. The army that we have, there's 6 Void Rays. We have the Phoenixes. We see 3 Colossi. That's what he has. And Dimaga, he's just building the same units over and over and over again. But yeah, the Mana is just not moving in. I mean, at this point, Mana is leading in army supply. He's leading in the worker count, 68 against 60, 91 against 76. And the composition, I don't even have to start talking about that, do I? +1 attack upgrade versus +1 armor. That's what we currently have in regards to the upgrades. Observers on the map, scanning what's going on. The Phoenixes with the scouting information, finding the hatch here in time. And we have the +2 attack upgrade started. Blink is on the way. More Void Rays are being built. And there's no anti-air. There are no Hydralists. There are no Infestors. There's no nothing. The Queen count is low. It is only at 4. So he can't even use the Queens against anti-air. Mana is taking a gold base on his own. I'm a little bit surprised that he doesn't want to be more aggressive with this, even especially since he has the Mothership Core with enough energy for a recall. Sends the Void Rays in and wants at least to take down the hatchet. That should not be a problem. Denies that base to his opponent. Could recall now to have those units in position as Dimaga tries to move in again. But Mana closes the gap with another Zealot, doing a great job here. The recall has happened, by the way. And here comes the Zerg army. Dimaga is going for a last desperate attempt to take this on. But this is not looking pretty. Too much damage already done by Mana, and Dimaga is now falling behind in supply. Resources lost 18,000, 19,000 against 8,000. This is incredible. The Void Rays alone, I mean, they are doing so much damage here. It's absolutely crazy. 23 crews on one of them. He's already an Executor. And yes, this has to be game. I don't think that Dimaga is going to try and stick this out, because he is just suffering too many losses here. That 4th base of Mana is nearly completed. The GG is called as Mana takes game number 1 in the Nations War round of 8 against the Ukraine. Poland is in the lead after game number 1.